This podcast is sponsored by Uncomfortable Ideas by Bo Bennett, PhD. Challenge your beliefs and embrace the uncomfortable. Discover the power of confronting ideas that push your boundaries. Get the book or enroll in the online course today at uncomfortable-ideas.com.
Religious pilgrimages and exploitation, challenging the commercialization of sacred sites. Explore the uncomfortable truths behind the commercialization and exploitation of religious pilgrimage sites and why it matters to question the status quo. Religious pilgrimages and exploitation when sacred journeys lose their soul. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about religious pilgrimages, those epic journeys millions of people make every year to sacred sites all around the world, like Mecca, Lourdes, Varanasi, or the Camino de Santiago. On the surface, these trips seem so pure, so spiritual, so meaningful. But then, when you start peeling back the layers, there's this uncomfortable truth lurking beneath: the commercialization and exploitation of these sacred spaces. Now, I'm not here to knock personal faith or the genuine spiritual experiences people have. That's real and important. But what bugs me is how these sacred sites, instead of being preserved just as sanctuaries for spiritual reflection, often turn into full-blown tourist factories. It's kind of ironic, right? Pilgrimages purposefully challenge the status quo, asking people to step away from their everyday lives, reflect, seek transformation. But what happens when the very places that symbolize this deep inner journey get overrun by gift shops, overpriced hotels, and vendors hawking holy souvenirs that sometimes feel more like kitsch than respect? Take Mecca, for example. The Hajj pilgrimage is one of the largest religious gatherings on the planet, but there's a massive infrastructure devoted to handling the sheer volume of people. And while that's necessary for safety and logistics, it's impossible to ignore the fact that many businesses around the pilgrimage ecosystem are profiting heavily. From travel agencies that charge exorbitant rates to accommodation that can feel like a corporate venture rather than a welcoming abode, the line between spiritual service and commerce blurs. And it's not just the big-name sites. Even smaller pilgrimage locations have turned into money-making machines. Streets near sacred spots get lined with souvenir stands, snack shops, and tour companies vying for pilgrim attention. Sometimes this commercialization detracts from the very essence of the pilgrimage: the quiet moments, the reflection, the connection with the divine or the self. In essence, it raises a series of questions that are not exactly easy or comfortable to ask, which is why they often get swept under the rug. Are these places still sacred when their function includes selling trinkets and catering to mass tourism? How does the influx of profit-driven actors change the experience and a meaning for those who come seeking something real? It's a topic that definitely plunges me into those uncomfortable conversations we hear about. But I think embracing discomfort is vital if we want to understand different perspectives and maybe even improve situations that otherwise remain unquestioned. We tend to happily accept the commercial aspects of our vacations, but religious pilgrimages aren't just vacations. They involve profound meaning and reverence for many. The commercialization of pilgrimage sites sometimes turns them into exclusive clubs for those who can afford the best packages, turning spiritual access into a kind of privilege rather than a universal invitation. On top of that, there's exploitation, sometimes of local communities, sometimes environmental. For example, increased tourism can lead to ecological damage around these fragile holy sites. Meanwhile, many local residents might not see the financial benefits you'd imagine. Profits often concentrate in larger companies or international corporations, not grassroots communities. It's like the sacred becomes a commodity, and the people who have traditionally cared for these places get left out. Challenging this status quo means we need to engage with these offensive topics more openly. Exploring solutions could include sustainable tourism models or redirecting profits to local communities and preservation efforts. But it all begins by acknowledging that not everything about religious pilgrimages is as pure or simple as the postcards make it appear. If this subject intrigues or even unsettles you, I highly recommend checking out the book Uncomfortable Ideas by Bo Bennett, PhD. The book really pushes readers to go beyond easy answers, to face those uncomfortable truths and question long-held beliefs with an open mind. Exploring this perspective is not about disrespect, it's about seeking honest conversations and understanding the complex realities behind sacred journeys. If you're someone who appreciates a thought-provoking podcast or conversations that challenge conventional thinking, this might resonate with you. Explore the book now and see how embracing discomfort and questioning even the most skewed aspects of life can lead to growth, deeper insight, and a more meaningful connection with the world around us. Click here to learn more. So, the next time you hear about a mass pilgrimage, maybe take a moment to think about not just the spiritual devotion, but also the layers of commercialization and exploitation that often come with it. Sometimes understanding different perspectives means wrestling with contradictions and nuances that make us a little uncomfortable. And that's okay. That's how we grow.